Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Jasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami, Bhavatu me. Jaya Goranitai, Jaya Goranitai, Goranitai, Jaya Goranitai. Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Haribol. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishubhad Paramahamsa Parivraja Gacharya Ashotara Satara Sri Srimati Mangles A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishubhad Paramahamsa Parivraja Gacharya Ashotara Satara Sri Srimati Mangles Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य भगवान नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय श्री श्री गौनिताई की जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ सुभद्रा बलदेव की जय गौर प्रेमानंदी all Gauri Sudha Samalivatis, all Gauri Sudha Samalivatis, all Gauri Sudha Samalivatis, all Gauri Sri Guru Sri Gauranga, all Gauri Srila Prabhupada. Oh, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasabhatade, Samate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Prachadine, Nirvishesha Sunavadi, Pasyate Radhane. श्री श्री गौनिताई की जय श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ सुभद्रा बलदेव की जय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीगुरुयुतं पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंस्य श्रीरूपं सग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So I'm not able to speak loudly. I don't know if you can loudspeaker. I don't have any personal loudspeaker. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam from the fourth skanda, 29th chapter, sloka number 17. Yata yata vikriyate guna aktaha vikaroti va tata tata upadashta atma tat vritti anukaryate. Yata yata vikriyate gunakto vikaroti va tata tato padrashtatma tadvritti ranukaryate. Yata yata vikriyate gunakto vikaroti va tata tato padrashtatma tadvritti ranukaryate. Yata yata vikriyate gunakto vikaroti va tata tato padrashtatma tadvritti ranukaryate. Vaishnavis. Yata yata, just as vikriyate is agitated, guna aktaha, associated with the modes of nature, vikaroti, as it does, va, or tata tata. Similarly, upadrashta, observer, atma, the soul, tat, of the intelligence, vritti, occupations, anukaryate, imitates. Translation. Formerly, it was explained that the queen is one's intelligence. While one is awake or asleep, that intelligence creates different situations. Being influenced by contaminated intelligence, the living entity envisions something and simply imitates the actions and reactions of his intelligence. Please repeat. Formerly it was explained that the queen is one's intelligence. While one is awake or asleep, that intelligence creates different situations, being influenced by contaminated intelligence. The living entity envisions something and simply imitates the actions and reactions of his intelligence. Purport by Divine A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Queen of Puranjana is described herein as intelligence itself. Intelligence acts both in the dream state and in the waking state, but it is contaminated by the three modes of material nature. Since the intelligence is contaminated, the living entity is also contaminated. In the conditioned state, the living entity acts according to his contaminated intelligence. Although he simply remains an observer, he nonetheless acts, being forced by a contaminated intelligence, which in reality is a passive agent. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. This chapter, entitled Talks Between Narada and King Prachinabhari. As earlier explained, this chapter and the following ones are explaining again the story of Puranjana, as explained by Narada Muni to King Prachinabharishat. Already it is explained, but the king has frankly admitted that he could not understand what is the purpose of the story. So again, Narada Muni is explaining to King Prachinabharishat the same story so that the king should be able to understand about the story. And the whole purpose is to rectify the behavior and consciousness of King Prachinabhari, who is overly addicted to fruitive activities, karma. You can do good karma, you will be praised by many people, you will be pious king, but that is not the final object of life. Final object of life is to become a pure devotee of Krishna. And that, yes, the king has not understood. He is not following the process of Krishna consciousness. So Narada Muni is very much eager to teach the king the process of pure Krishna consciousness through the story of King Puranjana. So we can refer to the earlier passage in the Srimad Bhagavatam from the 25th chapter. Sloka number 56, 57. In sloka number 56 of chapter number 25, Evam karmasu sansaktaha kamatma vanchito buddhaha mahishi yad yad iheta tattad evam navartata tattad evam vavartata. The meaning is that being thus entangled in different types of mental concoction and engaged in fruitive activities, King Puranjana came completely under the control of material intelligence and was thus cheated. Indeed, he used to fulfill all the desires of his wife, the queen. So, as explained in this way earlier, the King Puranjana, in the story of Narada Muni, he is completely under the power of his subtle body. Subtle body is a very essential element of the human form of life, because through the subtle body one will be able to conduct oneself in a proper manner according to the scriptures and according to the advice of the Guru and the earlier acharyas. Otherwise, what's happening here in this example is very common. Practically everybody is just following. We are the living entity, pure spirit soul. Actually, we have nothing to do with this body, either gross or subtle. But we are taken like a prisoner, and we are listening to our mind and intelligence to such an extent that in this story, King Puranjana made his intelligence his wife. So we can understand from this that there is hardly any hope for King Puranjana to come out of the situation. And if we read the next slokas, we can understand what's happening to King Puranjana. When the queen drank liquor, King Puranjana also engaged in drinking. When the queen dined, he used to dine with her. And when she chewed, King Puranjana used to chew along with her. When the queen sang, he also sang. Similarly, when the queen cried, he also cried. And when the queen laughed, he also laughed. When the queen talked loosely, he also talked loosely. And when the queen walked, the king walked behind her. When the queen would stand still, the king would also stand still. And when the queen would lie down in bed, he would also follow and lie down with her. In this way, whatever the queen does, the king follows. Actually, the king, Puranjana, or king, Prachinabarishad, or any conditioned soul, we are not supposed to be slave of the body, either gross or subtle. We have to conduct ourselves through following pure knowledge, pure intelligence. But here in this narration, which is very typical of the life of the conditioned soul, the soul is blindly following whatever the intelligence does. Sorry. Following blindly in this way, the living entity, the spirit soul, who is by nature completely aloof from the material world, he has eternal relationship with Lord Krishna, as the eternal servant of the Lord. He is not supposed to follow anybody else. He has to follow the Guru, the pure devotee of the Lord, Shastra, Acharyas. He is not supposed to follow the contaminated intelligence. If the intelligence becomes purified by proper association with a proper knowledge, then the living entity will be benefited by having such a pure intelligence. But in the case of Puranjana, the intelligence is completely contaminated. And the intelligence and the mind are completely under the modes of nature. Tamagun, Rajagun, Sattvagun. When the intelligence is purified, then it transcends Sattvagun, comes to the level of Suddha Sattva. But it is not the case here in this example, as the intelligence is completely under the modes of nature. In this way, it is dragging the living entity also under the modes of nature. So we have to try to understand what is the position of the living entity in this world. If we consult Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of Lord Krishna to Arjuna are very significant. Arjuna is also under the modes of nature, but he happens to be a friend of Krishna. So that is a great benefit for Arjuna to be in the association of Krishna, even though at the beginning Arjuna was under the feeling of material compassion in the battle of Kurukshetra. He didn't want to fight against his senior relatives and gurus. In this way, that was the situation. But Krishna understood perfectly that Arjuna needs some special spiritual instruction. In this way, by following the instruction, Arjuna will become perfect in all respects. He'll be able to understand through his intelligence. He'll be free from all doubts, and he'll be able to follow the instructions of Lord Krishna. So in the Bhagavad Gita, from the 3rd chapter, we understand what is the position of the intelligence and mind and other senses, which are like instruments possessed by the living entity. So in the sloka, I wanted to read because very important. Indriyani paranyahu indriyabhyo param manaha manasastu para buddhir yo buddhi paratastu saha. The working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And the soul is even higher than the intelligence. So this is how we are made of. Everyone, especially human beings, they have the special quality of a superior mind, a superior intelligence, which can take them to pure God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. Whereas animals, they also have mind intelligence, but on a much lower platform. They cannot raise to that level of God consciousness. They can manage their life, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. They are busy in that, but they cannot go higher than that. But the human beings, being endowed with a special quality, especially mind and intelligence, they are supposed to raise themselves to the higher platform of Krishna consciousness. So here Lord Krishna is, in this sloka, describing the different levels of quality. We have the body, we have senses, that is knowledge acquiring senses, jnanendriyas. We have karmendriyas, which are helping us, going here and there, talking, eating, And we have the mind, which is analyzing and keeping in memory all the past experiences. And above the mind, there is the intelligence, which is supposed to be developed through knowledge. That's why children are going to school. If they don't go to school, their intelligence will not develop. Earlier, they used to go to Gurukul. Even Lord Krishna went to Gurukul, so that to show an example that from beginning of life, from the age of 5, the intelligence should be educated, developed in spiritual knowledge as well as material knowledge. But earlier spiritual knowledge was emphasis. The emphasis was on spiritual knowledge, which gives the living entity the possibility to become perfect. Whereas simply material knowledge will help us only to move, to earn some money, to maybe have family and become rich and influential in the world. But this is the present system. So anyway, intelligence has to be developed. Otherwise, it will remain on the inferior platform. It will not really help the living entity. So, this sloka shows that Yo buddhe palatastu saha. So, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the senses are different outlets for the activities of lust. Lust is reserved within the body, but it is given vent to the senses. Therefore, the senses are superior to the body as a whole. These outlets are not in use when there is superior consciousness or Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, the soul makes direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the hierarchy of bodily functions, as described here, ultimately ends in the Supreme Soul, Paramatma. So, Yo buddhi paratastu saha. Saha here is translated as the soul. And beyond the soul, there is Supreme Soul. The soul is also not alone. As described in the Upanishads, that the body, there is a tree, just like a tree. And in the tree, there are two birds. So one bird is eating the fruits in the tree, going around. Fruits sometimes bitter, sometimes sweet. But the other bird is simply witnessing the activities of the first bird. The second bird, he is the Supreme Soul. The first bird is the soul. So within our body, which is like a tree, there are two souls, the Jivatma, Paramatma. So that is a very important aspect of knowledge, which Lord Krishna is also giving in this third chapter. Then, bodily action means the functions of the senses, and stopping the senses means stopping all bodily actions. But since the mind is active, then even though the body may be silent and at rest, the mind will act as it does during dreaming. But above the mind is the determination of the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul proper. If therefore the soul is directly engaged with the Supreme, naturally all other subordinates, namely the intelligence, mind and senses, will be automatically engaged. So the proper use of the body is like that. the body is ruled by the soul. Everybody has got a soul. If there is no soul, the body is inert, dead matter. It is dead matter. Because of the presence of the soul, the body appears to be alive. But the soul has friend, eternal friend, the super soul, Paramatma, Lord Krishna, in his expansion as Paramatma. The soul has to take direction from Paramatma in order to conduct himself and develop Krishna consciousness. If otherwise, then the soul will simply take help from the lower body, the subtle and lower body. So this subtle body, lower body are under the spell of the illusory energy of the Lord, the three gunas. So if the soul takes shelter of this intelligence or mind, then it will come also under the influence of the three gunas. By nature, the soul has nothing to do with the three gunas. But in a conditioned state, is taking help of mind intelligence under the three gunas. That is the poor situation of the conditioned soul. In this way, taking birth and acting under the three gunas, finally dying after death according to three gunas, he'll take a suitable body, again resuming conditioned life, life after life, without end. That is the position of the living entity. If the living entity takes help and devotes himself, surrender to the Supreme Soul, then the living entity, the jiva, will be safe in his life. He will achieve perfection. Otherwise, he'll be completely under the spell of material nature. So that is the story of Puranjana. Here I would like to say something which is quite interesting regarding this sloka of Bhagavad Gita. Yo buddhi paratastu saha. So the acharyas have translated that saha. What is that saha? Saha is the soul. It is well understood that the soul is at the top, and below that you have intelligence, mind, and the different senses, sense objects. That is well known. Everybody, that is the proper knowledge that everybody has got. So there is no doubt, apparently, no doubt, yo buddhi paratastu saha, that above the buddhi, above the intelligence, paratastu saha, means the living entity, the soul, jivatma. But one of the acharyas have given a different meaning, and that is very interesting. Ramanujacharya, he has translated this, he has given his understanding that yo buddhi paratastu saha, the higher than intelligence is lust. Saha. Saha means lust. Lust is the invincible, unconquerable of the living entity. The lust has taken shelter of the sense objects, of the senses, of the mind, of the intelligence. This karma is everywhere situated. He has taken position everywhere. And therefore, because it's so difficult to conquer karma, next to impossible, therefore, Ramanujacharya has translated this, yo buddhi paratastu saha. This karma is a Sa, superior to all of these, superior to intelligence, superior to mind, superior to bodily functions. So this very powerful realization of Ramanujacharya, which is actually not whimsical, even though other acharyas has given different understanding, but actually it is also proper to understand the position of karma. In the earlier sloka, in the same chapter, Lord Krishna has told that this karma is very difficult to conquer. Karma esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. Then vidyenam, I just forgot. Mahasano, mahapapma, vidyenam iha vairinam. It is from the mode of passion. Mode of passion in this material world everywhere, Rajagun. And it is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Then Lord Krishna says, as fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of this lust, the desire to enjoy. Why we have come to this material world? Under the influence of karma. We want to exercise this karma and enjoy the resources of this world. Thus, the wise living entity is pure Krishna consciousness, becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Eternal enemy of the living entity. We have to understand this very carefully. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So Arjuna was asking that how, even though we don't want to do something sinful, we have some idea that sinful activity is not favorable. It will give us very strict punishment, and we'll have to suffer so much for our sinful activities. So Arjuna's question was very, very proper. Generally, we are not asking that question. See, how Arjuna, not only Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, is giving us knowledge. Arjuna is also giving us knowledge. And the knowledge given by Arjuna is very helpful for self-realization, for introspection. So Arjuna is in this way asking, with great humility, with great innocence from Lord Krishna. How is it? I don't want to commit sin. I know what is sin. I don't want to do, but I am forced to do. Arjuna is telling, I am forced to act sinfully. Why? He is asking. And Lord Krishna says, Kamaisha, Krodhaisha, Rajoguna Samudbhava. Yes, you are forced to act in this way because you are under the mode of passion. Everyone in this material world is influenced by the mode of Tamagun, Rajagun, Sattvagun. Very, very few in heaven, maybe under Sattvagun. But now, here, in this earth planet, Rajagun, Tamagun. So, Lord Krishna says, yes, because you are under Rajagun, so you have to act sinfully. So, that is the situation. Even though we are superior as far as Tattva is concerned, we are sentient. We are conscious. Below that, below the soul, this gross body, subtle body, they are not sentient. They are just instruments to help the soul move in the world. So the soul is supposed to be superior, to act spiritually speaking, spiritually, not materially. But in this material world, everybody comes under the influence of Rajagun, Tamagun. That is the statement of Lord Krishna. Therefore, don't be surprised, Arjuna, that even though you want to be very perfect, very good, very, having all the good qualities, but nature will not allow you. Nature will not allow you. So that is the situation that every one of us should clearly understand from the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the situation is not hopeless, but we have to understand who we are, under which influence we are acting, how to improve our position, how to progress on the path of self-realization. Who is our friend? Who is our enemy? Lord Krishna says, if the mind is helping you in Krishna consciousness, controlling the senses, then the mind is your friend. If the mind is not helping you in controlling the senses, the mind is your enemy. Under the karma, the mind is the enemy. So, Vidyena miha vairinam. So that is a very important lesson from this third chapter. And from this we understand what is the position of Puranjana. He made his intelligence his wife. But his intelligence is material intelligence, contaminated. In this way, he will go down and down to the hellish condition by following his wife in this manner. If the wife is pure intelligence, Krishna conscious, then that is very good. He can follow his wife. That is no problem. But in this case, the wife is not a devotee, pure devotee. She is contaminated, material intelligence. So as described earlier, whatever the wife does, whatever the soul, Puranjana, simply follows and does not understand how to progress in Krishna consciousness if he is simply following the intelligence in the state of contamination. So that is the teachings of Narada Muni here to King Prachinabarishat. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
who comes under the influence of sattva guna, so he would act more in the mode of goodness, and he would kind of, he is protected. Can we understand that? Is he protected from the desires of lust, kama, which is the greatest enemy? And if so, if sattva gun can protect us, so how we can you know uh, get ourselves into sattva guna? So what are the various ways we can practice so that we can situate ourselves properly in sattva guna?
We, we have to place ourselves under proper association. Just like here the jiva, under association with intelligence, is committing all types of nonsense. If the jiva comes under protection from, as we say, sattvagun, where is sattvagun? Sattvagun is only with those who are devotees. They have been able to develop sense control, mind control. In this way, they are, by reading devotional literature, their intelligence is purified. By this association, they are chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This chanting of the holy names of the Lord purifies the mind and intelligence so that the soul will be able to progress in Krishna consciousness, be safely situated. So to answer to your question, Sattvagun, where is Sattvagun? You cannot find any proper sattvic association unless you keep association with devotees. Everywhere Sattvagun may be very small amount, but mostly it is Rajagun, Tamagun. Sattvagun is very rare to be found, very rare. It is there in the higher planetary systems, in the above of great sages, Brahmalok, no, Dhruvalok. In those places, the Sattvagun is there. But in this world where we are living now, practically speaking, we cannot find any such association unless we keep association with devotees. So that is what Srila Prabhupada wanted to establish. While building temples, having different centers everywhere, people should have opportunity to associate with the Sattvagun by proper practice, observance, knowledge, and so on. That is the process by which we can develop our sattvic propensities and ultimately reach complete beyond Sattvagun also. So that is the process of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, you cannot, by yourself or by any association, you cannot develop Sattvagun in this age of Kali, especially. It was there in the earlier ages, Satya Yuga. At that time, there were many great souls, Hansa. Everybody was a Hansa. And many Paramahamsas were there. But as the age is progressing gradually, the influence becomes degraded, going towards Tamagun. So that is the situation. We should take advantage of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and simply chant the holy names of the Lord in association with devotees. Then we'll make progress in life. Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My question is about that in human being, that hell heaven exists or not?
Where is that?
Hell or heaven.
hell and heaven, that in according to Punarjanama, that it exists or not
Who?
in human being.
Hell. Acha, hell and heaven.
Yeah.
Your question? Hell and heaven. Yeah, that is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you go through the different teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, all the hellish planets, how to go there, you will know, you will understand how to go there, and how to avoid going there, going to heaven, that is also described. And how to go to Vaikuntha, that is also described. Everything is there in the Bhagavatam. So hell is down. There are 14 planetary systems, 7 are hellish, and 7 are heavenly. We are in the middle portion. So we can either go down, go up, according to our activities and consciousness.
But I'm telling that in human body, when soul left the body, then how the soul goes to hell and heaven? Means about there is something body should be exist on the hell and heaven too.
The soul is not alone. When the soul goes out of the body, it is accompanied by super soul. And even a subtle body also is also there. So accompanied by this, the soul will be taken either down or up. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna explains that what are the two methods of going out of the body. One method is you go, everybody will be going out, everybody. But after going out, whether again you have to come down, or otherwise you have to go up in the higher planetary systems, according to time factor and according to the consciousness. So these are teachings are there from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. According to the position of the mind, if you think of some tamasic consciousness, you will go down. In Rajasic, you will stay here, the middle planetary system. If you think of higher thought, then you go to heaven. If you worship Deva, Yanti Devavrata Devan, Pitrin Yanti Pitru Vrata, Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja, Yanti Mad Yajino Pimam. According to whom do you worship? Whom do you follow? You follow Deva, demigods, you go to Devaloka. You worship Pitru, you go to Pitruloka. You worship the Bhut, go to Bhut, you become a Bhut. If you worship me, Krishna said, you come to me. So we have to follow Lord Krishna's instructions. Yanti mad yajinopi mam. So we have to, in this way, carefully control our senses and consciousness in association with devotees. Then you will be properly situated now and at the time of death. Any other questions? Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.